The statistics say like most geniuses are males. I don't know why that is. I didn't validate this fact. I'm surprised to hear it, to be honest.
I actually will wonder if women are either as prone to being geniuses or more prone, but they get less opportunity to show it.
That's what I would think too.
Definitely think the results are skewed.
Yeah, I think so too. They
Of
just throw
course
that
you
out there.
think
Don't start with me, Teasy.
I mean, look, to prove
Don't start nothing, it won't be none.
To prove Ace's point, Japan recently had a little stint where they had to publicly apologize, like, "Hey, we've been messing with the test results to make sure that we get mostly males at the school for doctors."
What?
Yeah, so they recently had to say sorry about it, and yeah. So
That's not surprising, actually.
So to Ace's point, shit might be very skewed.
Not to get too deep, but it's not surprising to you that other human beings have this thought process that is just like high level, consistent manipulation. Like that really baffles me because I don't know where I get my values from. Like I said, not to get too deep, but it's like that does surprise me all the time. I'm not surprised because I know that people do it, but it still doesn't make sense to my brain. Why would you do that?
Like, how did you get there?
Yeah, how did you
to the
get
point
there?
where like now you're publicly apologizing about this shit? Yeah, like, I mean,
I can think of several reasons.
that was just rooted in prior like cultural beliefs, and it's. I mean, that sucks. That's what it is. But
If I think that men typically get like more leadership roles or better roles, higher paying roles, then I would want to admit more men into my college so that we have a more prestigious alumni.
So you saying they genuinely believe what they're doing is not like a manipulation, like. Because for me, like most of the people I've ever worked with in life, like women are really intelligent, really
think
powerful.
initially
Most of
that
my
was
best
it.
leaders have been women. So maybe my experience doesn't lead me to think that about men. I actually think men are trash. But
I think that in society, the people who typically hold the highest positions and the people who typically make the most and the people who typically have the most power are men.
right.
And so if we're going to be giving our degrees, our prestigious degrees with our name on it, we would love to give it to men because they're going to be more powerful.
But what he just said, Los, let me be, is that the men didn't necessarily deserve it. There was manipulation to prop the men up. If I'm the person who's the gatekeeper, I want the genuinely best people. I don't want to prop up a man.
I hear that.
I had to manipulate to make you.
I think TZ's point is still valid though, because if historically only the men are being successful, they're getting chosen for the high level jobs.
They become president and prime minister, and
Yeah.
senators and shit like
Regardless
that.
of what they know, like women are suppressed
Yeah.
in a lot of these places.
See, that's the suppression part is the part that trips me out. I would want the best person. I would never manipulate for men to be on top. Even as a man, like if women are just better, I'm gonna be like, well, shit, they got us.
Well, you know what they say, like minorities and women, like they typically have to be 5 times as better in order to really get the opportunity.
Yeah,
To just get the opportunity to be in the same room.
yeah.
you think you'd think the same way if like you was born in a different era?
If I was born in a different era, I would not think the same way. If I was born in a different race, I wouldn't think the same way. I do think all of that shapes my sense of fairness, I guess.
I think about it in terms of like if I'm a hospital board and we get applications for doctors or some shit like that. Yeah, you might want the best doctors, but you also might just want the ones who are going to have like the highest ceiling. And so, yeah, maybe the black doctors do get a little bit higher score, but their ceiling just isn't as high because they're black. It's racist, discriminatory, prejudice and all that, but
why is their ceiling not as high?
Because
black
systematically they're oppressed.
Yeah, like it's typically
and when it comes to the women, especially if you have another badge on you, right? You're black, you're young, you're female. Like all of these things suppress you even more.
Right, but in his example, the person who decided not to hire the black doctor or put him in that position is the suppressor. Your judgment can't be, I'm not going to hire you because you're oppressed or suppressed. Because you're the oppressor by making that decision. So why does that person think you have a ceiling is what I'm saying.
Is that person a suppressor? Sure, I'll agree to that. Is that person also just a cog in society.
Society,
yeah, like recognizing that okay,
systematically you're not gonna go as far.
Yeah, white men typically go higher in positions and get more power as opposed to the equally as talented black person. And if I again just want my name attached to the higher success, if I'm Harvard Business School or Harvard Hospital, yeah, man, give it to the white dude who gonna be the senator, who gonna be the president, who gonna be on that important board more so than the black dude. It's unfair, but I'm just saying I get it. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, you guys sound like me with my therapy needs.
What? How so?
It's just sad, but I mean, we get it.
And we're all in therapy because we should not think like that. We should not accept these thoughts. Same point. Indeed. Black people really do accept the. Never mind. I don't want to get into that.
Cause don't start nothing. It won't be nothing, TZ.
We just oppressed people just accept oppression. Unfortunately,
it's really tough though to be
shout outs to one
a
of our older
dominant
episodes.
minority.
A what?
A dominant minority. Like some black people don't accept the stats, but you're 13% of this country. How dominant could you really be? How dominant would the majority even allow you to be? Don't get me wrong. You can be influential though, but dominant, that's tough. You just outnumbered. You out-resourced. It's tough.
Out-organized, out-thought.
Yeah. Like, I know some people bring up Jews, but that's like a smaller subset. And they do their own thing within the system. They still don't dominate the system, but they do their own thing within the system.
But I think we've learned that power and numbers aren't necessarily synonymous. I would say Jews, they're one that their numbers don't really equate to how much power they have.
Right.
So I guess in social media, like you see how loud black and gays can be when they're offended, even though they're a very small minority in the country. They have a lot of influence and power.
You think you're only seeing that influence because you're part of that culture?
Yeah, I didn't get in that debate with him because I always disagree with him and my best friend about like the true influence of black people. Or the true influence of like minority groups.
It's like a white girl's Instagram looks so different than mine.
Yeah, it's like you're in your own bubble, your own like echo chamber. So yeah, you feel that way, but in totality,
it's the algorithm.
People talk about
we gonna disagree
culture.
on
If
that.
cancel culture was really that powerful, Donald Trump, it would be impossible to elect somebody. He smoked Kamala Harris. Popular vote, electoral college, he smoked it. If cancel culture was that big of a thing and everyone had that much power, this wouldn't have been closer. He would have lost.
I don't like you bringing up that example.
That's the best example because he is bolded in your face with the bullshit he say and do. And you live in a country that clearly elected him to be the leader.
I hear that.
I didn't want to get political. We ain't got to go down
I think a lot of people
We ain't gotta
agree
go
with
down
him.
there.
Like I think too many people agree with him for him to be cancelable. Which again I think is
about the power.
Interesting, but
then you got to consider who are those people who didn't, think he was bad enough.
Who are those people that? So I hear that question as who are the people that actually cancel people, and I would think it's young people and minorities, honestly, and loud voices. I would say also.
I think it's the people who got the majority of people.
I think a lot of those people support Donald Trump. A lot of young people like him. A lot of minorities like him for whatever reason. And a lot of people with influence like him. You get what I'm saying? So although he is...
I get what you're saying.
A lot of
off of a
shit,
hunch or feeling, but if you look at the numbers, he, by a large margin, won the gay vote, won the minority vote. He won all the categories. I mean, not him.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, reverse. I mean, Kamala. He lost those categories.
Okay.
He lost those by large margins. So the people in those groups, by and large, supported his opposition, yet he still won by a large margin.
I don't know the numbers, but I don't think he got smoked by people 24 to like 40. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No,
I know the Latino votes got him heavy.
They're not significant enough to matter.
Nah,
they matter within the collective, but they don't matter as a standalone group to be like, hey, I need to fear them alone.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like those people, the minorities and young people agree with him. Like those are the people that create cancel culture. If they actually disagree, then maybe he would be cancelable. Maybe.
Right.
But I think a lot of those people actually agree with him and don't find what he says that reprehensible. Or they think that the positives of what he say outweighs the negatives.
I think the audience for cancel culture is more different than you expect.
Who do you think the audience is?
Is the white folks.
Nah, okay.
They're
Not older white people.
Yeah, not older white people, but they're also the ones who, the older white people are the ones who are in power. But in actual, like, for popularity reasons, like, it's the younger white kids. There's, I mean, at least in America, there's more younger white kids than there are younger minority kids.
I agree with that. And you think that the younger white kids are the ones really pushing the cancel culture?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's their agenda that's still out there versus like Latinos or gays or blacks, whatever minority culture. Like, it's not like you see them really handling and getting it. I guess like back when Obama was around, but I mean, obviously he's not. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
Yeah, I'm a little bit lost. The last point that I think I remember or at least that I understood you making was young white people are the ones that push cancel culture. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I agree with that. I think they're a part of it, but I don't think they push it. I would have to think it's the young minorities more than anyone else. The people who are on the margins, the black, gay, feminist groups, people like that who really the social justice warriors. I don't see that as young
the loudest
white people.
person in the room with the biggest wallet. That's who controls cancel culture.
And that could be the young white people. That definitely could be them. They loud and they be having money sometimes.
And at the same time, like, if we go back to like when Vine first started, right? Or do
it for the Vine.
Right when going viral just meant turning on this camera and acting the ass, right? Before I could clown and get paid for this. You know what I'm saying?
You guys remember planking?
You remember put them in a coffin? Niggas just falling out everywhere. Wow. Wild times, you know what I'm saying? But now it's getting harder to monetize that way. And you got to watch who comes out of the remnants of that as we move into, you know, AI and other technologies and stuff like that. The people who make the shift, they're going to be the ones who going to be in control. And they're going to be the ones who can dictate who we can and cannot cancel. Especially when it comes down to AI. If I master the coding or something for AI, I can make you believe anything I want about anybody in here. And I can make it seem like it came from their mouth. I could get them canceled based off of shit that they never even said.
Do y'all think cancel culture still exists?
I don't. I think people attempt to, but I don't think it was like a wave. I just don't feel like it has the same momentum that it used to have.
Who was the last person to be canceled?
Diddy.
I don't know if that counts as canceling.
I say the feds came and got him. People been trying to cancel him. It didn't work. And then the feds came.
I mean, I guess that can count as a canceling, but he's just reprehensible in general. I think most people feel that he's reprehensible in general. So I don't really feel like that's I
don't even get
this person did this one thing and now we all just ganged up on him. Like, no, he got arrested for some heinous shit.
Right. If they did not arrest him, they still would be quiet and supporting this man as one of the black gods of the black community.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's counted as a canceling, though.
No, the law canceling you don't count. It's the culture got to cancel you. The culture didn't cancel you until the law.
At the same time,
I think the culture got to him, though.
Are we fucking with him? I don't
culturally.
I mean, no, because the law said so.
I mean, that ain't a good example either, because you see how Young Thug was throughout his law troubles. Niggas rolled with him through and through. It wasn't nobody saying free Diddy. Everybody was saying free Thug till it's backwards. It's cultural, man. That's culture.